Hello.
Hello, beautiful light beings, human beings of the earth. We're here to have a little chat and share a bit of wisdom and insight on developing a relationship with your mind.
Mhm.
So, I feel like for some of us, immediately what was coming through was that sometimes we feel like we're a slave to our mind or that we're constantly at a battle with the mind. I know this was like a big thing for me. There's this part of you that wants to be this, do this, experience this, and then there's this other part of you that wants to do the exact opposite and will do anything to get there. So, if you're one of those people, like I was, then this video is for you definitely. And if you're someone that really wants to utilize the power of the mind in creating your own reality, this is also for you. Creating so much more spaciousness in your experience, really bringing in deeper presence. So let's talk about it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Aria, for opening up this conversation about developing a relationship with your mind. Like you said, I think it's super common for us to fight inside of our own heads, the narrative that's going on. And I'll start by saying, I've been doing a little spiritual gardening, and that's been really big. And the mind is like the field where we see the seeds around us, and the seeds are all the ideas. And I think it becomes kind of chaotic when every word that somebody's saying or every idea that is being presented to us is trying to get a spot in our mind. It's trying to take some real estate. And we live during a time where a lot of advertisers and a lot of big media agencies, they hone in on getting your attention, making you pay attention, because the attention economy, attention is the currency, and your mind is so valuable when it comes to feeding the narrative, So what can we do about developing a relationship with our mind so that we can find peace and harmony, and we can effectively clear out the clutter, the chatter that's happening constantly? I think it's worth to note that this has been going on before we were born. We could start to hear things. And as soon as our brain was developed, like when we popped out of the womb, our minds were like sponges absorbing everything. And we didn't even realize how much really taking it all in. The words they were saying, the beliefs that they were presenting to us, the ideas, the stories. And as a kid,
Witnessing.
right, just seeing it all. And that's all happening within. And of course, we're constantly using our mind. And I'll talk a little bit about our relationship to time in the mind, but I just wanted to acknowledge that there's a lot that happened within our mind that we may not even acknowledge because it happened before we were really even forming memories. And so that was the foundation of the playing grounds of our mental space.
Goodness gracious, let that sit in. Thank you so much, Esther, for sharing that. And I'm super curious to hear what more you have to share about time. So please share that now, because I feel like that I have so many thoughts on that, but I want to hear what comes through with that.
I love you, girl. Okay, so I was just thinking about time is a concept that, but we just had daylight savings time. This is something as a society we all agree upon, all right, for whatever reason, let's turn our clocks back an hour, so that it's just gonna be better for the daylight or whatnot. But this is all constructed again in our minds. We think okay, no other animal, no other plant needs a watch. They have the sun, and of course they're paying attention to it. But there's also a really interesting thing that you don't see in the body and you don't see in the soul when it comes to time with the mind, and that is that we think about the future, we think about the past, we think about all of these areas of time, these pockets of time, and it's actually really rare to be present. That is such a gift. When you are present, you can feel the essence, and or life just expands, and it just feels so juicy when you're like present with it. But we live during a time where quite often we find ourselves thinking about the future, especially with AI and everything. I think it's like things are rapidly expanding and developing, and we can't help but think about what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next? Am I doing enough? What about tomorrow? Is like the timeline, the deadlines, all of this is happening in the mind. So just acknowledging that, I think a part of developing a relationship with your mind is being aware where your mind is in time.
Mm-hmm.
Making time for the present moment and for your senses, your awareness, and all of the mechanics of your mind to be present with you is kind of hard at first, just because of the nature of the world we live in. But the more you do it, I think the more easy it is to understand the nature of your mind and, the narratives that pop up. And we could talk about meditation and how for a lot of people that haven't done meditation, I know people that are scared of it because they don't want to sit with their minds. There's too much chaos going on, and they don't know what to do when those thoughts start popping up. And the best thing to do is just be present with it, because that allows space for it to fully express itself, and then it can release. You're no longer holding on to it.
Yeah. And I feel like part of that, I want to add on as far as the time. And you were talking about like when we're younger, we're absorbing so much. We're literally creating our nervous systems. We're creating all of the programs that we need to survive and exist as a human being here on Earth, in society, in our cultures, whatever it may be. So we have to recognize that a lot of what the mind is spewing out, a lot of these thoughts and the way in which it is speaking to you has to do with urgency. It has to do with your sense of survival. It has to do with, what it has formulated at a very young age, or what was just repeatedly shared with you, shown to you, shown as evidence in your reality. So this is why when we can start to kind of separate ourselves from the thought field and become more of an observer, we can start to see that, oh, I am not those thoughts. I am not these things, but they are sharing information with me, right? We get to put ourselves in this powerful position of being that observer, of just being present with what is there. Noticing, of course, what happens in the body. We'll talk about that another time. But especially with meditation, I'm huge on meditation. And I grew up like as a teenager, I had really just like, I was very mean to myself in my head, and I was really hard on myself, and I needed to be hyper dependent, overachieve. I needed all of these things. I was seeking my identity so deeply that I was just constantly at a war in my head. And I experienced this like all the way up into like my probably early 20s, I want to say. I was experiencing that. But what I noticed is that when I gave space to understand what meditation actually was, which was really just about being present, and to also recognize, with the trainings and the work that I've done now, to recognize that it is not for everyone to sit and listen to your thoughts. Some of us need to move. We are not necessarily in a space where we even feel safe to sit there. So sitting there is just going to feel more dysregulating. It's going to feel more uncomfortable. But the point is to really practice that, looking at them, just looking at what these thoughts are, looking at what you are saying about yourself, what you're saying about this person, what you're making this mean, where you are putting your energy. And this is where the mind is so powerful, because it is about our attention and where we are putting our energy. So when, just like Esther said, the more that you practice putting your energy somewhere that actually supports you, the more that you practice meditation, the more that you practice EFT, whatever it is that you practice, like, it will become easier, and you will start to see that your mind will respond differently, because you are shifting your focus and where you are putting that observation. There was a teacher that shared with me about quantum physics, okay? And
Mhm.
basically, the only reason why there is movement and we can see life is because we are observing it, because we are conscious of it, because we see it.
Observer
So if
effect
there's a bubble here, if there's a line here, it's not until we look at it that it becomes animated.
collapses into the
Hmm.
particleness.
Yeah. So I love that because it just shares once again like how powerful our attention truly is. And when we can start to practice more of not even just stillness, but more of the observance of what's going on, whether that's outside of us, inside of us, like shoo, you'll
Mhm.
start to see like your own power and where you have been putting your energy and where it hasn't been serving you and how it has been, affecting you, whether it's adversely or more positively. So just a
I
little
love,
bit.
especially that last note on just your presence, the power of being present. Um, again, and also that note on sometimes, yeah, sitting down with your thoughts. It's literally like you're sitting in front of a firing squad, and the bullets are just rolling, and you're just like, whoa, like
Like, where is
this
this coming
is,
from?
you know,
Oh, what I do?
right. But the mind, especially during this age that we live in with AI, it's like more important than ever to pay attention. If you garden, if you honestly, if you do anything, if you're trying to help someone, if you're a caretaker, the more observant you can be, the easier your job will be. And that is a fact, I think, for like any industry, anything that you do. Like if you pay attention to what you're planting, then you'll know when the seeds germinate, you'll know when they grow, and you'll know what to do from there. And that's really important. And I think we're living during a time where it seems like it's becoming rarer and rarer, where people are getting caught with like, okay, I just need the fruit. Like, I don't like the seed. I like, where's the fruit? And it's like, okay, the
Get us
plant is
started.
right. Like, you know, and also in the age of AI, where it's really challenging you to use your mind because you have an easy way out if you don't want to. If you don't want to use your mind, if you don't want to think, if you want that affirmation for something that is actually delusional, but you don't want to like face that at that point, like you have an easy way out where you don't really have to think. And I was just talking to a teacher, and she was like, yeah, two students submitted the same essay, and it was just asking them to write about their opinion on a topic, and they somehow had word for word the same essay, which means they didn't even think about their own opinion. They asked ChatGPT, like, what is your opinion? And can you write your opinion on this? Instead of, this is my opinion. Can you write? So I think small things like that, of when you pay attention, when you're present, you will see that the things in your mind are actually there to help you, but your mind is like the laziest part of your body. I feel like you said, Aria, it becomes easier and easier when you do something, regardless if it's good or bad. It's gonna become easier for you to do it. So if you are putting yourself down, it becomes easier and easier for you to put yourself down. If you're building yourself up, it becomes easier and easier. Your mind is just looking for the easiest route to connect the dots.
Yeah.
And that is a beautiful thing to know. Because if you can observe your thoughts and what is popping up when you are in a situation, you can rewire it. You can rewire it.
You actually can, okay? And it's not about how much time it takes to do it. It's about you allowing yourself to be human in this earth school. Like AI is not going to do that for us, right? And we're not going to get too deep into that, but like it's so important that when we want to develop a relationship with our mind, that we are turning to the source of that within ourselves. So important. Oh my goodness. I feel like we touched on so many little things, and please do share with us if there's anything that you're like, oh my gosh, like I want to hear more about this. If you have any questions, any insights that you have, what has supported you, we'd love to hear it. Please do make sure you like if you like this video, and subscribe as well. Join the community.
Yeah, and while you're down there, just so you know, we have an offering. It is a soul reset. And it is an amazing offering, and it's totally free. So in exchange for your email, so we can share even more beautiful things with you, you get this awesome offering where we share light language and to help reset and refresh your being. So it's a pretty cool offering. Totally check it out and let us know what has been helping you with developing your relationship with your mind.
Thank you so much for this conversation. I send you all so much love and many blessings on your journey and to presence. Yay!